Hi, Dr. Alina Kolchitsky, lifestyle medicine, physical therapy, nutrition, and wellness. I'm making a cake. It's Valentine's Day. I have a dinner to go to tomorrow, and I'd rather bake something that's homemade than buy something, because even though you may be using some ingredients that are processed, like flour and refined sugar, it's at least better than the store-bought version, which has a lot of other additives in it. So when you do indulge, try to indulge a little more healthily and make your own. Okay, so I'm making a apple French cake, and I've already pre-prepared some things. I've also already preheated the oven. It's at 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and I pre-did the apple. So I have 1.5 pounds of apple that I sliced and made translucent by doing 3 1-minute intervals in the microwave. And so I also afterwards, cooking it for 3 intervals for 1 minute times 3, then added a tablespoon of spiced rum and 2 tablespoons of spiced rum, a tablespoon of lemon juice. And since my rum was just aged rum and I didn't really have spiced rum, I just added the usual spices. I just sprinkled some cinnamon and nutmeg. So then that cooled. I had to go to flamenco class and then would be home here late to do everything. So I pre-prepared the stuff to mix for the batter as well. So what I've got here is the dry mixture. Basically it's 1 cup of cake flour and 2 tablespoons of baking powder and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. That's it. And then here I've got the liquid, and this is let's see, a whole egg, 2 egg yolks, a whole cup of whole milk, and so don't use 2% or 1%, has to be whole milk, a whole cup of that. And then what else is there in here liquid-wise? Oil. Now, I did call for vegetable oil. I'm not a fan of vegetable oil, so I put a cup of olive oil, extra virgin cold-pressed olive oil, instead of coconut oil. There's all kinds of ancient recipes for olive oil cakes in Italy. Olive oil will be just fine. So I whisked all of that, and now we need to add the dry to the liquid like usual. So I'm going to do it in parts. Since this is a cake, we do want to mix things well, so I'm using a whisk. It'll just help mix the flour, incorporate it a little bit better, so you're less likely to have, balls of flour that doesn't mix. When you're making cakes, you do want to follow the recipe exactly. So I did not skimp on the milk by changing it to a low fat. It would change the properties by reducing the fat. You could experiment, but I certainly wouldn't experiment when I'm taking this to a dinner party. I would experiment if it was just for myself. And then I could live with whatever I end up with, which I do sometimes. And by doing it in parts, you're less likely to have lumps as well. You get better incorporation. That's my cat, Honey. Hi, Honey. Poor kitty, I've been busy all day working, and then notes, dinner, workout, dance class, home, and still busy baking for tomorrow's dinner. Okay, that's the last of the flour. This cake has to bake for a long time, for 1 hour and 15 minutes. It is going to be baked in a springform pan, standard for cakes. It is the pan lined with butter, so it's greased with butter. And then because the batter is kind of runny, the instructions are to put it on top of a baking sheet with parchment paper and then put this greased springform pan on top of that because it will run. You don't want to mess in your oven. So I'm trusting them and following directions. This is a good workout. Good for the grip strength, good for your forearm muscles. Hot topic in fitness. Grip strength correlated with longevity. If you have strong grip, you live longer. Not only because you function longer, but correlates with other diseases like cardiovascular disease and some cancers, actually, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so next it calls for dividing the batter in half. So I'm going to go back to my dry bowl, separate half of this, just eyeball it, and we'll set that half aside, and now we're going to incorporate the apple. So I'm going to fold in the apple. I love baked apple. Could eat that just by itself. So you just want to make sure everything gets coated well. Okay, we set that aside. Then we add 2 tablespoons of cake flour. So I have that already measured out. Let's get our whisk again. Yes, baby. Okay, so that's done. Easy peasy. Set that aside. Let's get our baking pan. We're going to pour the batter with the apple into the pan. I would not use a machine mixer with this because you would end up battering your pieces of apple into a pulp. And we don't want that. We want actually to feel the slices of the apple in the cake. Okay, we'll smooth that out evenly. Next, we're going to add the second batch of batter on top. It's a little bit thicker. I imagine that's going to make a more supportive base when we take it out of the pan and flip it upside down. So we pour that on top. I don't like to waste. So I'm just getting every little bit of batter. Okay, so we have that on top. And it calls for a teaspoon of granulated sugar to be sprinkled on top. Hang on. I want to spread this a little bit better so that it's even and no gaps along the edges. Okay. And now time for the granulated sugar. Adding that teaspoon sprinkled on top will create a little bit of oomph with sweetness in your bite of your cake. Now, something I do want to do in addition that isn't in the recipe is sprinkle some slivered almonds. So I've been saving these. Let's sprinkle. So this is just optional, but I think it'll add nice texture as well as taste delicious. Not to mention it'll add some protein and health elements to our cake. Vitamins, vitamin E especially. Okay, we're ready. That's it. Now we're going to put it in the oven. I'm going to let you see me do that. Not that you really have to see that. As you can see, it's kind of ready. I'm going to place that down, open my oven door, do this carefully so I don't spill everywhere. So far it's not running out the pan though, so that's good. Okay, I'm trying to put it in the middle of the oven. Okay, on the middle rack, or the lower rack, but it's in the middle and in the center. Place it center so it's going to bake evenly. And now let's put in our cooking time. So an hour and 15 seconds, so 60, 75. Let's put 7-5. There we go. And we'll check on it, and I'll be back. Okay, 34 minutes left. I'm not going to open the door because with cakes that can make them fall. So oven light. Let's have a look-see. Good. Yeah, well, it's definitely not ready yet, although it's looking a little brown on the edges. Hard to tell with my camera phone through the... Okay, I'm back. The time is up, and it really did take the whole hour and 15 minutes. I took a shower. It's already after 11. It's past my bedtime. And in my pajamas. Juicy! Anyways, so let's check it out. It smells amazing. I wish there was a way to capture smell on video. So, take this up carefully. Maybe a little bit more light. And if you can tell, it is a little brown on the edges. And let's see. There we go. It has pulled away from the edges. We are not going to touch this until it cools. So, yeah. I'm going to put it in the microwave so that it's safe overnight from my cat and any bugs. So it can cool off in the microwave overnight, and then tomorrow take it out and voila, it's ready. It smells amazing, and really wasn't that hard to make. Just takes a long time to bake, an hour and 15 minutes. So again, you know, lifestyle medicine, pillars of health, nutrition, we do want to eat a whole food plant-based diet and avoid sugar and refined carbohydrate, but once in a while we like to indulge in these things, and it's okay if you do it minimally once in a while. I'm going to a dinner tomorrow night with some friends. They're cooking for me, so I'm bringing dessert, and I'd rather make something homemade where I know there's no other additives. It's just simply flour, eggs, milk, sugar, and some seasonings, an apple. So it's, you know, when it comes to desserts, much healthier than a store-bought baked good that has really not good oils and lots of additives, preservatives, etc. So, you know, this is not something you want to leave around for a long time. You want to eat it in the next few days, and that won't be a problem. I always have lots of people to share with, as well as taking to the dinner party tomorrow. So yes, it's okay to eat these kinds of things once in a while, but if you can make it yourself, not only does it taste better, it's healthier for you if you're going to indulge. And I hope that helps. And check out my other videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my toolbox on my website, where I have lots of videos, and we also have a weekly not one-on-one, like a weekly Zoom session for just my subscribers on various topics every week, covering everything in all the pillars of health, including exercises, nutrition, sleep, epigenetics, all that kind of stuff, okay? And my YouTube's free, so please subscribe and check out all my other videos. Share with your loved ones, and thank you. Bye.